Hello and welcome to Rock Talk. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about the inclement weather procedures for Round Rock ISD, how we make decisions on school cancellations and delays, and how we notify our parents. Joining me today on our panel is our Director of Transportation, Mr. Fritz, Bundy, our Executive Director for Educational Support, Mr. John Yonker, and Principal of an elementary school principal, Gabby Nino. Thank you for joining us today. Now, Fritz, your team on bus drivers and the bus supervisors do a lot of legwork in evaluating road conditions when there is inclement weather. Can you kind of speak to that process and what your team is doing when there's possibility of bad weather?
Well, first what we do is we start monitoring the weather a day or two out just to see what may be coming our way. And in transportation, our supervisor staff, including myself, we have teams that go out and check the roads. We typically start at 1:30 in the morning, starting to check roads and to see if we're starting to see the conditions that may inhibit safe travel to school, either on the school bus or for students walking or driving.
So what are the kind of timeframes and when decisions are made? I know the night before or the day before we're looking at weather at certain periods of time. From your perspective, when are the decisions being made in terms of whether we're going to if we are going to delay or cancel school activities?
Typically, we try to get together the evening before and look at weather reports, but we really like to have the decision made by 5 in the morning. We do have bus drivers where routes do leave out at 5:45, so we like to have that call made by 5 o'clock in the morning so we can communicate it out to the media and the parents know and all of our employees know that they don't need to get out in the weather.
So if there is a cancellation or a delay, we're making the phone calls to parents either the night before or as soon as the decision is made. Oftentimes we're trying to make the decision the night before to give parents enough time to plan. We're posting things on the website, we're putting it on social media if it's canceled, and we're sending it to our local media partners as well as all of the email addresses that we have in our email database.
But especially if it's after school care, it's typically an enrichment group or YMCA, so we're going to coordinate with whatever organization is hosted on our campus. Bottom line, student safety is first, so we're going to make sure that they're in a safe place and secure, and we're going to have staff and personnel with the children at all times.
So one way that parents can partner with schools to make sure that they're getting the best service when it comes to inclement weather is working with the registrars at the campuses.
Yes.
To make sure everything's updated?
Yes, they should communicate with them if any changes happen.
And it's important to note, and correct me if I'm wrong, if an elementary school student, if there hasn't been contact made at home and things are canceled after school, if I'm supposed to be in YMCA, and it's canceled, we're not sending kids home if we're not sure there's an adult to receive
Absolutely
them.
not. We never dismiss students with a different plan than was communicated with us unless we've made contact with the family. So if the student's YMCA, then we're going to send them to YMCA because it's housed at our campus, but we're going to work in partnership with YMCA to make sure all communication gets out from the campus perspective and that YMCA activates their communication plan.
And it's important to note that when we cancel activities, correct, John? When we cancel activities, we cancel them, period. We're not keeping it open for one school. We're not making exceptions for a basketball game versus a PTA parent night at a campus.
When we cancel activities or we say that after 5 o'clock no activities can occur, which we sometimes make that decision based on weather, then that's for every and all activities.
Awesome, brother. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode of Rock Talk. You can visit roundrockisd.org/Rock Talk and view all of our episodes. Mr. Bundy, final thoughts on inclement weather? Any message you want to get out there to parents?
Final thoughts, just, if you hear the night before, the day before, we're going to have bad weather, just, keep tuned to local news stations and KLBJ. I believe that's just the radio station we communicate with. If you do have any questions, call transportation. There may be someone there. We typically have our dispatchers there, so if you have any questions, if it's a 2-hour delay, if you've got any questions, feel free to call. We're there to serve you.
Awesome.
Just knowing that student safety is paramount. We want to make sure that everyone gets to school safely and gets home safely, and we also want to protect our faculty and our community as well, knowing that it can be very dangerous if we if we misstep. So I think a lot of thought is given into making those decisions. There's a few things you can do. Make sure you subscribe to your campus e-news and district e-news because that information is provided to you. Checking the websites are also very, very important. And then, just monitoring, as Ms. Nino had said that as long as we have good email addresses and good phone numbers, that helps us as well as we're making those kinds of decisions. And, we're parents as well, and we want to make sure that everyone gets to school safely, and we make the decisions that are in the best interest of our students.
Gabby, any last thoughts?
Our students and community are, their safety is our first priority every day when we come to school. And so sometimes the weather has a huge impact on that. And the most important thing during these times is understanding that we have a plan in place, but it takes communication from everybody involved to roll out that plan and be flexible to make the plan work as it should. And so from the parents' standpoint and the community standpoint, please just make sure that you're communicating with the school. Make sure that information is updated, because we can't work with you if we can't access you. We can't communicate with you that your child is safe if we can't access you. So please make sure that you work with the school registrar or campus staff to make sure that we have the most updated information for you.
Well, thank you all for coming on this episode of Rock Talk. I think we had some good information for our parents.
Thank you.